Alright, so this is the cardboard template that I've come up with. So it'll go something like that. What I'll have to do though is manipulate it a little bit, so I'll get the back position in, and then it's going to have a little bit of a kick probably put there just to angle that in once it's in steel. So I'll make exactly the same for both sides, and then we're properly tying it in, and I can still get, there's a bolt there and a bolt there, and I'll still be able to access them from here and the full turret. And I'll tie this panel to this panel, and this panel I'm just gonna seam weld it going across like that, and it'll leave me enough space then to either drop down or maybe even put a small floor section here to meet up with the arch that I put on, and then there'll be a flat floor put underneath there, so it may even be that goes across and then down, but at least I'll have somewhere to join onto. Right, bit of a trim on the face, and I've done a little bit more work. So passing your side sections in, I've removed the jacks now, driver sides in, so there's now just my work connecting the chassis. What I'm going to do next is I've got to cut this inner section out here that's rusty, but I'm not actually going to patch it up. I'm just going to cut the section away and leave that open into the inner wing. What I'm doing now is I'm going to copy that arch onto here. So I'm going to put a 90 on this piece of steel here, and I'm going to use the stretcher, and I'm going to attempt to make a piece go down there and be somewhere around here, and then I'll extend that bit, and then we'll infill this. So I'll butt weld it up to there so that that's got its strength back in, get rid of that bit so I can wax oil it from inside them holes, and then this filling hole's going anyway. I'm going to smooth that off. I'm actually contemplating putting the MX5 one a little bit higher up, so it's a flush one. Obviously I'll have to make a panel for it, but I'm considering doing that. So now I'm going to try using the stretcher on this. other night I did have a 2-minute go on the stretcher just to see if I could make a curve, and I seem to be able to, but this is going to be my first proper attempt on a panel, so I'll set up a time lapse. We'll bend the metal first. I'm only leaving it sort of an inch wide, the width of a steel ruler, and then we'll get it on the stretcher on that one, because this one's the, oh no, that one's a stretcher, I can't remember. So this is what I've made. I ended up using the stretcher. I did try the shrinker first, but I got the bend on the wrong side. So that's going to be going in there. I just need to scribe or do a cardboard template or something around this. Obviously clean up all the stone chip and butt weld that again, so then I've got somewhere for my new lip to go onto. What I'll probably do is do the opposite side. So I'll probably have the arch like that and butt weld it against this into the corner so I can seam seal it, and then I can just put a piece of steel and spot weld it on the back of there, which I think is probably gonna be the neatest way of doing it, because I'm just gonna have a flat section to do it onto then. And I'll probably, if I do it like the full width there, and put a couple of beads down it, something like that, so it looks nice. But what I need to do is get that into position. So I'll take a measurement from the corner here to where I need it to be to match the other side. So it starts at 39.5 centimetres, which, to be fair, it's actually further than we've got here. So if you look at the other side anyway, I want to be welding there for my tubs. I want to make them as wide as I can. So I'll take them up to the edge. So if I go off 14 inches, it takes us to there. So what I need to do is extend this little L shape over. In fact, what I might be able to do, so that'll be something like that, but obviously it's going to be flush back, and then there'll be a plate from there down to this, butt welded against it as well. In fact, what I'll probably do is just stitch weld that. It's going to be seam sealed and it's non-structural, and then just spot weld. Right, so I managed to get that little piece welded in. I'll probably weld it from the other side. I'll have a look at what it looks like now. It might just need seam sealing. I'll have a look. Oh, to be fair, a couple of tiny little pinholes in it. I've not done the top yet. I need to clean a bit of the seam sealer away that I missed. But that can be done at a later date. The bottom bit's not been done because on the inside, put a marker line there where I need to fill in the bottom piece. I'm going to drill a couple of holes through there to allow any water to get through, and for when I wax oil it as well, so that inside there fills. And obviously I'm going to be cutting that out, and I'm going to be plating from there to there. And then I need a piece on the inside and then a piece on the outside as well to sit the floor onto. This then is going to sit something like that, so that'll be on there, but it'll be wider. I'm actually going to take it all the way to the chassis leg, so that I've got a lot more void underneath the car if ever I need any access. I've got plenty of access underneath there, so I'll do the same on both sides. Still need to unpick all that. Then we'll get the flat floor in, cut out that middle rail, and then extend the chassis legs down. That rail's going completely, and once that rail's out, I'm going to put in a firewall on the other side. So when the flat floor goes in, obviously all that timber's going to go out from there and tacked onto there, and the same on the other side. Drop down, I'm going to firewall that section, and then in there is where the fuel tank's going to sit, so it's going to be separated from the cabin. Then once that firewall's in, I can look at chopping this side out and see what we can do about putting a seat in the back, or a little tiny, I think it's 70 centimetres wide, so a little tiny bench is going to go in between the chassis legs. And then this here is going to get tubbed, I think, all the way over, so it'll come there and down. And not sure how it's going to end yet, because I've still got to make space for things like the hood, and I'm then going to have to join the chassis leg over to the tub. But I think that's going to be the neatest option, and it also will give me plenty of space underneath here to house, potentially, I could have a swirl pot underneath there. The fuel filter was there before, I can put that back there again. So leaves me plenty of space anyway. I do need to drop out the subframe, but I don't want to do that until I have figured out where my floor level is going to come up to, because on the subframe there's a little bit around about there on both sides where the diff mount goes that sticks up a little bit, so I need to make sure the floor goes over that section.